Ever since I joined Berkeley Symphony, it's been one of my favorite organizations because there's such a connection to the community, and yet it has some of the highest musical standards too. So it's recognized on the international stage, but at heart, it is integrated with the community.
I love the Berkeley Symphony because it's local, because it's vibrant, because it's unique, and because it does things that other symphonies don't do, and it feels like it's ours, part of Berkeley. I love it.
The Berkeley Symphony is very, very special because it answers quite a difficult question. That question is, what does Berkeley sound like?
What I love about what we have at the Berkeley Symphony is we are very ambitious. We don't have any fear for going for it.
The Berkeley Symphony sets a singular standard, not only engaging composers and orchestra members, but audiences, and really is an exemplar for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
What I most love about Berkeley Symphony is the people. People who are passionate and artistic and creative and innovative and just make the magic happen.
A lot of my formative musical experiences as a listener happened at Zoerbach Hall, listening to concerts by the Berkeley Symphony.
What I love about the Berkeley Symphony is that it can always be depended on to give us out-of-the-box programming. Playing Ravel, Mother Goose, but mixed with a Hindustani singer. There's always something interesting and out of the box. There's something creative about the way they program in Berkeley.
No matter what piece of music you put in front of them, whether it's Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, or a piece hot off the press by the latest avant-garde composer, they attack it with the same zeal that they would any other piece. Berkeley Symphony was started in 1971 by Thomas Rarick. It's called the Berkeley Promenade Orchestra.
I was a founding member of the orchestra. I think Tom Rarick hired me first. In the 60s, we could play in a church, the lights would go off and the audience would come up with candles from the church to light our way, and the dogs were in the aisle. They came to the concert too.
When Kent Nagano took over in 1978, he continued into the vein of old war horses, but then he started performing new music. They actually performed at Davies Symphony Hall, and this caused a huge sensation and put Berkeley Symphony on the map, as well as Kent Nagano.
My favorite moment in the history of Berkeley Symphony was when I was able to tell Kent that he had been voted the favorite new conductor, and he now had a new orchestra to conduct.
It is said that orchestras are a metaphor for the ideal democratic community. People of all different walks of life, different backgrounds, all come together and work to create something that one single person cannot do on their own. And when it works, as it works in the Berkeley Symphony, we have something that's really, really magical.
He also brought Frank Zappa to the Bay Area and performed these famous performances that, again, people keep talking about to this day.
The first time I performed with Kent, I just loved its artistic programming. It was very adventurous, adventuresome, and the fact that they really took pride in commissioning new works.
There was this trust that had developed between Kent and the musicians. He would work them to the bone, and they loved it. I thought, God, a bunch of masochists here, but they just ate it up.
Joanna brought a total different style on stage, on the podium. She had a really great, down-to-earth, sincere rapport with the audience.
Sitting at a rehearsal with Joanna and watching her interact with the musicians and talking to them and giving them the help that they needed to achieve the kind of high level that she was going for, it was really very, very inspiring.
We performed the John Adams Klinghoffer choruses, followed by Mozart's Requiem on the same program. And it was, I would say, it was nothing short of divine.
Her conducting was very colorful and flowery, and inspired, moved the orchestra in a different way.
She was very concerned about how the orchestra and the audience, I mean, she wanted to make that bridge all the time between the audience and the orchestra. So you felt it was interesting to watch.
Joseph has a great mind for curating concerts, so he really knows how to mastermind a program and to create a seamless transition between works. So he doesn't just, put one work after the other, but he really thinks about how can they be connected.
He's super well trained, he knows what the music's about, and the orchestra is very excited to work with him. And I'm very excited to hear what kind of ideas he has, both on stage and also off stage in terms of community engagement.
When I became music director, one of the things that was so exciting was to explore the history of Berkeley. The idea of protest, the idea of civil unrest, the idea of the civil rights movement. I was trying to find those different avenues of that history of Berkeley and how we can amplify those ideas in music.
So What Kent Began has now become part of our DNA with Joanna and with Joseph. Every performance we have has a contemporary piece.
Berkeley Symphony really has a special niche because of its commitment to new music and new voices in the musical community.
The orchestra does such a wonderful job of doing classical pieces, but then they also introduce new music that normally people would not get to listen to, and they do it very well.
I'm lucky to be part of a trio of composers that were commissioned for the 50th anniversary celebrations. So together with Derek Sky and Rina Ismail. And I think the fact that we are so prominently featured also speaks volumes about what the orchestra thinks the place of contemporary music should be in programming.
There are many things that I love about the Berkeley Symphony, but one is their real commitment to new music and adventurous programming. One of them is a piece I wrote for orchestra called This Midnight Hour, and I always imagined it with dance, but it wasn't until I was with the Berkeley Symphony that this really came to life in a wonderful collaboration with choreographer Katie Nelson and her ODC dance company.
My top performance with the Berkeley Symphony was a 2015 performance of Thomas Addis's Asila, an incredible essay for orchestra that's just wild and bonkers and full of so much color and sound.
It's a very intellectual crowd, and also it's a very progressive crowd. And so I think the programming is designed to match the audience that we have.
They have this thirst for knowledge and to learn and to be entertained at the same time. So we are able to present things at Berkeley Symphony that may at times be controversial and be welcomed and applauded for it.
Our education programs are in direct collaboration with the Berkeley Unified School District and all the music teachers at the district. And so we collaborate with them, we work with them to develop the programs. The programs and their topics are oftentimes suggested by them. And my favorite part is that I'm a performer concerts at the end where the Berkeley Symphony musicians will perform with the students of the Unified School District.
Music makes me feel happy because I like the sounds of the notes. It makes me feel proud. It's really powerful to the heart. I practice almost every day.
Right when Joseph arrived in town, he decided that he would have a concert on the plaza. And people would come along and kind of look, and then they'd stop and stay and listen. Then Joseph started offering his baton to members of the audience, and people really got into it. There was one guy, he got so into it, his man bun flew apart.
Starting the season 3 years ago in Bart Plaza was such an important milestone for us to really let the community know that we are there for them.
Taking the music out to the community and involving everyone in the music.
Our connection to the Berkeley community has been deepened by our relationships with the Berkeley Art Museum, the Berkeley Public Library, with our Reading is Instrumental program, which is in partnership with the Berkeley Public Library. We've been reaching thousands and thousands of households in the Bay Area and beyond, pairing musicians from the Berkeley Symphony with famous authors and celebrities from around the Bay Area. Berkeley Food Network, which is the food bank in Berkeley, we have presented chamber music concerts in their warehouse. As they feed the community, we're able to feed their souls. What I look forward to the most in the next 50 years is the unexpected. Where are we going to be? What's going to happen? What's the next innovation? I mean, 50 years ago, did we ever imagine that we were going to be hearing some of the music that we've heard now? So I can't wait to find out what I don't know.
My objective with the Berkeley Symphony is to continue to celebrate the people who love us, to let people in the community know that we are there for them, and to inspire in ways that art can only do.
The Berkeley Symphony is all about the people. It's really special to be able to be up close and personal with some of the musicians, with the conductor, with the music director.
And when it works, as it works in the Berkeley Symphony, we have something that's really, really magical and special. Berkeley somehow keeps the original idea that democracy should be fresh and open.
Amazingly, the Berkeley Symphony has a huge reputation globally. I'd like to see that replicated in our own backyard.
The Berkeley Symphony has always been an organization that has a clear path into the future for another 5 decades of iconoclastic thinking and artistic trailblazing.
My hope for Berkeley's next 50 years, we go on to greater heights, have more fun, and be an important member of the Berkeley community.
What I look forward to 50 years from now is meeting some 57-year-old in the Berkeley grocery store saying, "You came to my school at Rosa Parks when I was in 1st grade. Oh, that was a fantastic concert." That's what I look forward to, is being in a community where the entire community has had a connection to Berkeley Symphony.